How's it going, everyone? This is Daniel. In this video, we're going to be talking about Tesla stock, the overall stock market. We're going to look at exactly what to expect for Tesla for tomorrow. We're going to be talking about also cryptocurrency, how that could affect Tesla, and also some other important companies that are holding cryptocurrencies in their balance sheet. So we're going to be talking about all this important information in this video coming up. As you can see over here, we have Tesla stock that's sitting at $705.21. We're only down 0.43%. We're going to be talking about some important headlines that came out that was relatively negative for Tesla later on. But as you can see, we went below $700. At one point, we were sitting at $690. We bounced back, and then we went lower again. So yesterday, we talked about, okay, we might potentially be breaking below $700, but luckily, we finished above $700, which is a very key price point level that we're going to be continuously watching out for Tesla stock. So when you compare Tesla with the overall stock market actually went up to the upside, except some few sectors here and there. We have some financial stocks that went lower, and also we have energy stocks that are continuously going lower because oil prices are definitely going down. So also we have Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, the big tech companies rallied to the upside. Let's go over and look at exactly, some of the price action that we saw for Tesla. Yesterday we talked about, okay, $700, that's going to be a key price point level that we're watching. If we can get below, we could potentially be testing around $680. But, fortunately, we only went to $690 and we closed above $700. And also the volume also ticked up a little bit, which is pretty good. And also when you look at the overall stock market, the overall stock market just continuously going up and up, which is relatively good, even though the volume is not really that convincing. As we talked about yesterday, we are going to potentially be testing some of the key price point level that we're watching, which is around 380. If we can break out of this level, we could potentially be filling the gap that is made right around over here. So let's go over and talk about some important news that came out for Tesla that affected the stock price slightly to the downside today. So there's going to be two major headlines that we're going to be talking about. The first one being that Tesla CEO Elon Musk mentioned that the new 2 gigafactories that are in Texas and also in Europe and Berlin, they're actually a money furnace. So that's exactly what he said during the podcast that he had a few weeks ago, close to a month ago. And we are getting the headlines. They just posted the podcast today. So the mainstream media picked it up, and unfortunately that kind of had an effect with Tesla stock to the downside a little bit. But as you can see, these factories are costing a lot of money just to maintain, because right now the factories are open, but it definitely is going to be it's going to take some time for them to fully produce the amount of vehicles that they're planning to produce. So at the meantime, just to maintain them is just definitely going to be costing a lot of money. That's exactly what he mentioned. And also, hiring employees, all of the extra expenses that comes with managing these 2 gigantic gigafactories, of course, is definitely going to be costing a lot of money. So that's exactly what he said. So as he said, Berlin and Austin are losing billions of dollars right now because there's a ton of expenses and hardly any output. So of course, this is definitely going to be changing once they start to ramp up production pretty soon. So this is not something that's like permanent. So this can definitely be improving pretty soon. So and also he mentioned that getting Berlin and Austin functional and getting Shanghai back into the saddle fully are overwhelming our concerns. Everything else is a very small thing, basically. So that is exactly what Elon Musk mentioned about these factories during the podcast that he had on May 30. So another important headline that we're going to be talking about that came out from Reuters was that Tesla is unfortunately, closing it down temporarily, the Shanghai Gigafactory, to update some of the equipment over there. So this is not something that is caused by COVID-19 or anything like that. We already passed that. And right now they're just shutting it down for approximately 1 or 2 weeks. And we'll be getting other headlines that's saying that, okay, it's not going to be taking 2 weeks. It might take, several days, maybe like 5 or 7 days. But as you see, this is kind of the headline that could have some form of an impact with Tesla stock that we saw today. Even though the overall market hedged higher, we had, Tesla stock that unfortunately went down a little bit to the downside. So of course, yesterday also we talked about some of the new price target changes that happened by Morgan Stanley, and that also had some impact on yesterday after the market closed. So let's go over and talk about exactly what to expect for Tesla stock, the overall stock market, and also for Bitcoin, as I mentioned. So when you look at the overall stock market, we are slightly bouncing back from the lows that we made around 362, which is relatively pretty good. And we don't have any kind of a big headline coming out, any kind of economic data coming out tomorrow that can significantly affect the overall stock market. So if we can continuously to edge higher and higher, that is really good. We are getting into July. July historically has been a bullish month, and we can definitely recover in July. So depending upon how the Fed is going to be raising interest rates during that month. So let's talk about exactly the key price point levels to watch for tomorrow. For the overall stock market, is going to be 380, and also have a support area that we're watching is going to be around 370 area. So that's going to be key price point level that we're watching for the overall stock market. For Tesla stock, we're also watching it closely depending upon how the price is going to be behaving, as we're sitting at a very great support area around $700. So if we can continue to stay above this level during a tomorrow session, and we close the week above $700, that is pretty good, because we bounced back pretty nicely from around 650. We went above to $700, so that's going to be pretty important to watch out for tomorrow. If we can stay above, we could potentially be edging closer and closer to $750. And if we break down, we might test around, there's a gap that can slightly fill right around over here between $666 and around $673. So if we have an aggressive sell-off, those are the key price point levels that we need to be watching out for Tesla stock. So now let's talk about Bitcoin. So Bitcoin prices are definitely fluctuating up and down a lot. Yes, a few days ago we went below $20,000, and at one point we tested $17,599, and right now we're sitting above $20,000, which is relatively pretty good. And we know that Tesla owns Bitcoin in its balance sheet. So Elon Musk stated that some of the Bitcoin that they're holding in the balance sheet is not really that much, so we don't really have to worry about it that much. But however, we have other big companies like MicroStrategy that invested billions of dollars into Bitcoin. Unfortunately, they are exposed a lot to Bitcoin fluctuations. At one point, this stock was trading, at above $1,000. Right now, it's sitting at $188.31. This is a company that has a lot of exposure to Bitcoin. Depending upon how the price is going to be trading for Bitcoin, it's going to be dependent upon how MicroStrategy is going to also be behaving. So that is one of the downside of having, going all in onto some kind of an asset. MicroStrategy, they just used the majority of the money that they got and they invested it into Bitcoin. Unfortunately, this is not looking good for them. So if Bitcoin prices goes below, $14,000, they're looking at a pretty massive loss that they could potentially be incurring, because they also borrowed money to buy Bitcoin, which is pretty bad. So that is just a great lesson for any company, because at one point this company, yes, it seemed like they were doing things correctly when the stock price was trading at above $1,000 a few months ago. It peaked at around $1,315, but it comes with a lot of risk when it comes to cryptocurrency. So let me know in the comments section below, what do you think about Tesla, Bitcoin, overall stock market? Are we going to continuously go higher and higher? I'd love to hear your opinion. Make sure you drop it in the comments section below. Of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Ready to catch you guys on another video. Have a wonderful day.